business competencies and the and the competitive and the business research, you would know that it is not that so straightforward, and especially on the ambidexterity. Yesterday we talked about it, and it's not so straightforward that that you can have a knowledge and you can inductively derive patterns of understanding and forms of models or theories. If that is so, I mean the whole world's peoples are already coming up with a lot of the competitive strategies that are uniquely different. So the sense and making sense and seizing the opportunity for ambidexterity, that you need to enhance both at the same times, not only balancing them, but you probably have to enhance them. Most of the use when you guys are looking into the informations on Google's, you have to be competitive. You have to read the materials and turn it into your own understanding, your own interpretations, and your own strength. Otherwise, you are just simply copying. And people say about balance, and you talk about balance. There got to be balance between exploratory and exploitative, or you got to be balanced between futures and the past. But how do you balance? To what extent do you balance, or do you really need to balance, or you need to have both? And so that comes to ability to sense the data, and the ability to sense the data is a very, very difficult task. It's a very, very difficult task. And so it's not that straightforward because that is the domains where you can transcend yourself, mindfulness, right? Sati. And people, monk, go through years and years of meditation and still not easily able to sense what that, the true natures of our mind and of our reactions, and why we are behaving like this, or why we are feeling like this, or why we are not able to react, why we are still reacting to the condition. So reacting to conditions is what the organizations do all the time. We react to conditions, right? If the conditions change, our strategy change. But is there any way that the reaction changes, the conditions changes, and we still proceed the deterministic, or at least the planned way that we do? That is the challenge that will allow you to win. That means that you are controlling the environment. You can in tune, and you can fine tune, and you can adapt the environment. So these are very difficult issue in ambidexterity things. And so to increase your cognitions, you really have to improve your cognitive sources. And we can call it mental worldviews, or we can call it mental models, or we can call it different schools of thought. A school means there is a lot of expertise. So we have different expertise of people's working on in this area, and we have a lot of expertise, professors working in these areas. And so when you go into a class and they request or ask you, well, you got to have a business plan, and this means that these teachers are being trained in the planning school. But on the other hand, if you follow the planning school stubbornly, and you will fail, because planning school doesn't get you very far. And the planning school still may be lacking of cognitive school, meaning that you're not thinking through properly, and you're not thinking holistically, or you do not sense and seize and exploit your competencies properly. And so this planning school really doesn't get you so far away. It tried to give you something, but because lacking of everything else, the engines of the aircraft doesn't seem to propel. And so you therefore to be a good strategist, you really have to master almost everything. These are where the sources of competitive advantages are, and so we have to build the competitiveness capabilities embedded through synthesized through all those area, and then we slowly implement it into different places, different strategies. So these are not very easy, straightforward diagrams and things, but it is very powerful, because if you can combine them, configure in a configuratory systems, that your organizations will become more holistic, and that can accelerate your organizations like airplane to wherever you want to go, to whichever height you want to go. And so that takes on positioning. You have to know where is your positions, and to positions, you are not alone. You are not alone. Your airplane is positioning in a certain height in certain places of this earth and the sky. And so you really need to look into your industry. And one of the easy way to look into the industry, which is not necessarily the way, but it is the most important way. Plus, you still need to pick up other kind of models and ways. But Michael Porter's industry force, 5 forces, and Diamond's models are really the places where you can know where you're supposed to position. And people has already made a lot of efforts on the industry, on their companies within that industry. So you really is looking behind from all these efforts of every organizations within that industry, so that you can move forward. That is a positioning skill. But in view of the positioning skill, in view of all this backdrop and background, what are you gonna do? That is a cognitive challenge, and the cognitive challenge to some extent is influenced by the mental models of the collective organizations and the environments you're in. So, for instance, if you're in USA, Silicon Valley, and you're in the Thailand, they are totally different environment, which influences not only your the culture, but also influences the individual cognitive style. And not only in terms of all this top view, but also in terms of when you are in the organizations, you need to really you're involving with your employees, you're involving with colleagues, you're involving with the tasks, you're involving with your businesses, and so therefore you got to learn on your businesses, and also the different stakeholders relationships, and certain stakeholder has certain political powers, or certain positional powers, or certain ability to do these things or that things, or do programmings on artificial intelligence. And some people are able to do the the product management, some people are able to do the engineering stuff. So you're looking into the feasibility and the desirability from the product developments, and combine it into the product development places, and so that you can turn your product into artificial intelligence product. And so you really need to know the power. Okay, and so you kind of looking down from the above, and also looking around and looking below. And so these are very important. So looking around means searching. You're searching and looking around and to seize opportunities. So you look around, you sense and see, sense and see, sense and see, sense. That is ambidexterity. So don't just simply read when I give you an assignment, it doesn't matter, okay, but bear in mind that the world knowledge is huge. Don't jump into the conclusion that what you have given here is the best way. In fact, we are all not the best way. The concepts are huge. Okay, so when we talk about ambidexterity, everything is the cause and condition for ambidexterity. And so these are where we can sense and seize. And so this engine's robustness is a place where we can remain at the present moment and move forward at the same time very dynamically. And this is what the airplane is doing. You are on the sky, and could be turbulence, could be some emerging weather conditions and thunderstorms, and you have to sail through them. And so your expectation, your seizings and your sensings is must be demonstrated through your capability. So it is the capabilities that makes the whole competitive strategies of twists and turns left and right, and your attitudes and the directions of your movement. And so this very, very important. And from there, then you kind of organize them into a plan, which could be very easy plans, which could be very difficult plan, short plan, long plan, short-term plan, long-term plan, medium-term plans, or just a hypothetical solution testing card. And then from there, you know what you're doing, and then you take on to your if you're to realizations and of your product and services, and then move on visionary to the market and opportunity, and that is the entrepreneurial. So a combination that is the places, the sources of knowledge where we can become smart, and so we can become the good strategist. So being a strategist, therefore, coming to the a small short understanding is that you have to build your cognitive capabilities and in view of the realities, and holistically able to synergize everything together and integrating all this. You can look at it as resources. The ability to integrate all these resources becomes your capability. So this is an overall organizational capability in that particular sense, and for the competency perspective. But from the competitive strategy perspective, is that you must be able to utilize all these resources and be able to win. Have a position capable to help you earn some monies in the market. So these are the therefore strategies and organizational resources are basically, you can look at strategies as the intellectual resources from the organizational perspective, and organizational resources as the infrastructures and structures and processes and peoples and the skills and knowledge that you need in order to help you drive the take off the strategy, and be realistic, right? Be realistic, which is market needs and condition. So different markets and needs and condition changes the way you form your strategies and the way you organize your resources, and so this has been demonstrated in the engines components, right? We have the couple of engines components, positioning school as one of the components, cultural schools as another components, and writing schools as another components, and entrepreneurial school, design school, learning school, power school, cultural schools, environmental school, configuration school. So you can see that there are so many courses that you have already learned. But how do you master all these courses to integrate them? And that is the essential strength of this powerful strategic leadership model. And so this is what we have gone through. And again, every time when we repeat the same slide again and again, we can talk in different views. Today, I talk in terms of ambidexterity, and I talk in terms of the strategic intellectual resources, integrations of them, and lacking of anything will not be able to move you further. And so we are looking backward, looking downward from above, and looking around and looking below, and looking ahead, looking a little bit more ahead and into the future. And so this kind of interpretation and perceptions and focus really depends on your experience. So this kind of experiences will gradually help you to understand things better and utilize things in different things. So the things that we discuss on every page, you can really apply in various different manners and with different explanation. And so we have the your strategies. Therefore, you got to have your business purpose. Okay, and this is very important because strategies, business strategy is not only it only makes sense when you have the you have certain vision, missions, and purpose, and it only makes sense when that purpose is evidenced somewhere in out there in the market. And so competitive positioning is therefore very, very important, and that is relative to your market target, and that is depending on your sources of competitive advantages, which coming from how you invest on your activities, and how you invest on your value chain, and how you invest on your competencies, or how you utilize your competency for making chips, or making or turn your product into artificial intelligence, or what, right? So these are all very, very important issues. So you can see that when you write presentations, and your logics of the demonstrating is very important. Most for this competitive strategy assignment that you just had it in, and no one's get 90s, unfortunately, because everyone is focusing on competency, exploitative competencies and exploratory competencies, and describing, well, to some extent, the inductive and deductive, but how do you bring all these issues into competitive? I don't see that you are how you utilize all this for a good positioning, and that allow people to see that you are making use of your competitive competencies in a clear manner, and that is the core that I think everyone needs to cohesively relook into your direction of thinking, and in view of all these market needs and condition, and not only focusing on these competencies, but you have to in view of all this context, and focusing on the directions of strategies which can come from any places, which could be manifested in terms of the types of competitive advantages that you intend to have, or a combination of them, a hybrid of them, or simultaneous inclusions of them, such as in blue ocean strategies, whether you're focusing on the competitive advantage, competitive strategy through a bit more offensive, or a bit more defensive, or a bit more stabilizing through analyzers, or whatever, or offensive in the sense of differentiations, or offensive in the sense of overall cost leadership, or certain scenario restriction because of weathers, because of yourself, or because of the environment. Yourselves could be that you have this is what you're good at it, the places well, or the broader competitors are not have ignored certain geographical or certain product contribution features, or maybe they're focusing on certain product and do not have artificial intelligence, and that is what your differentiations focus and cost focus comes into the picture. So this kind of competitive strategy got to be more robustly and explicitly demonstrated. And some of the strategies are in view of all this differentiation overall, and this, but they are more focusing on certain needs. Okay, drive by certain needs. So fulfill certain needs of the company. The customers fulfill certain needs of certain places. But certain places, for example, when we go to the south of Thailand, they need certain needs, and which is different from certain needs in Bangkok, or certain needs in the northern Thailand, and that certain needs-based positioning therefore becomes very, very uniquely your competitive strategies, and how you're going to explore that can always be applied. it could also challenge into to types of product, the nature of the product, type of product positioning, or it could be in terms of the how you can allow your company to assess whether you want your company to assess through omni channels, or assess through just the physical channels, or assess to just on the online channels, or assess through other types of channel, or maybe in combinations with the bank, and maybe in combinations with the Visa card, or maybe you can purchase through Alipay or whichever. And so this kind of assess-based, variety-based, needs-based, in combinations with differentiations, overall cost leadership, cost focus, differentiation focus, or blue ocean strategies that simultaneously focusing on those through value innovation. So you kind of need to value innovate based on differentiate, based on places where you can differentiate it by and eliminated certain places, so that you can streamline all your costs, and may not be cost leadership in the sense, but streamlining the costs. And many countries, many countries and companies, sometimes they do not have much differentiations of our cost leadership, but then they are able to standardize the practices and productions and all these businesses to tap on the local tastes and local preferences in extremely standard quality manners, and that is also extremely powerful, that people recognize you through your dedications. Okay, so apart from differentiations and overall cost leadership, we can also for example engage in such as assessment, such as logistics, and so I can move things fast. Whether it's differentiations of cost leaderships, I can move things very fast from to you, and that again is another competitive advantages that you can look at it. So all these are just nothing but similar to the airplane mental model. So we are working on all these things in order to create competitive strategies. Why is strategy? Because this is the way we get our products to the market. This is the way we have the ability to win in the market, and this is the way where we can gain advantages in our competition, and that is the characteristics of competitive strategy. And all this, saying all these issues are, we realize all these are importance, for competitive strategies. But at the end, all this only makes sense when we are enabled by our business models and value chain, because things are enabled through activities. And so your behaviors, your activities are the planning has to be put into proper implementations and things like that. So these are some things that I want you to focus, and rather than staying at the very plain, repeat again and again that this is the importance, not exploitative is important, but I don't see any contents. I don't see ไม่มีเนื้อ มีแต่น้ำ in ภาษาไทย the Thai would say we only see the we don't see the meat, we only see the waters, things like that. And so when you are for example, when you're able to differentiate whether through this or that, and then you have that certain positioning, uniquely occupying certain positioning, and then how you can have that impact of that positioning growing, and again, that is a competitive strategy. Again, you could it could be linking to not in terms of business strategies, but probably in terms of a functional strategy, maybe setting up another branch in operations, productions, maybe functional strategy through communication. So the more you communicate, the more you marketing, making use of your processes, institutions, and policies and processes of your activities in such a way that gets you connected to different stakeholders of society and the market. That is called marketing. So marketing is not 4P. Marketing is the definition of marketing. Therefore, is like you already have that business. You already have that business consolidated positioning, and what you do is that you trying to make use of all your institutions and policies and communications and processes and which whatever that can allow you to get connected and get recognized, get understanding, get penetrated, get influence to influence the whole stakeholders. And one of them is the customers, and not only customers, but the most important is also society, because society now influences the customers. So we're talking about social societal marketing, so marketing at the social level, society level, and so that and or you can set up different branches in different places so that your productions grow and grow. So this is all competitive strategy, but not at the business level, but at the task level. Okay, because well, it is a business level when that task are functional departments or functions supporting the realizations of that business, which is again is always a part of the business, but it is the business strategies already formed, the shape, but all you have to do is just mold it and expand it and this. And so you can see that this is what we do in strategy, and so you know how you can take shape in airplane when you fly to a certain height, and then how you can maintain at that height, and what things you need to do to maintain at that height, and that is a functional strategies. This is similar to this area, right? So so you can basically from this graph you can set up another graph for this one, you can set up another graph for this one, you can set up another, you can combine all this issue, and then you can include all this marketing and production you know across this, and how do you produce? For example, if I say that you need to produce the cars in such a fast speedy manners, maybe 1 minute one car. And so how are you going to do? Well, and that comes to the pictures that it depends on how many hours you have. And if you don't have sufficient hours, and then that means that you have to expand your production line, right? So that you can multiply your 24 hours times 2. And then from there you can shrink your you know, because you divided by so many, right? You're divided some quantity divided by so many hours, it will something divided by more, it will reduce the amount of car, and so that will meet your expectation. And then if and then from there the rest is just functional. Maybe I need cell technology, I need flexible manufacturing technology, I need artificial intelligence to help me, I need pneumatic systems, I need hydraulic systems, I need robotic systems, I need to train, I need to this experts, I need this enterprise resource planning, and all these things comes into the pictures, and you can produce one car in 1 minute. So this is a competitive strategy. And so we explore in a more detailed sense. Don't always come up with something. And I hope everyone's get powerful, learning and become powerful and things like that. Okay, so this graph, we can stay there and continue and work on the operations. We can stay here and work on the production. We can stay here and work on the total quality management, right? So for example, in total quality management, so how are you going to do with it? Well, it's very simple, right? You can just look at the total quality management in total quality and manage TQM. And so total in what sense? Total in the sense of what? In the sense of speed, in the sense of your defects, or in the sense of the capacities, or you know, things like that, and the percentage of your capacities. Say you have 100% capacity, but you're using 70%, so that 30% is wastage. And then from there, your speed is so slow, and then your quality control gets reduced again. And then from there, you have so many defects, and then it works again. And so this is this total quality management in that particular situations with competitive strategy. We call OEE, right? Overall equipment effectiveness. So the overall equipment effectiveness become that times that times that. The speed times the defects times the capacity. And this is a very important operational competitive strategy, meaning the strategies contributed by competitive capabilities of the organizational strategy operation. Because if your organizations do not have the capacities and your cost goes up and you're not competitive in terms of selling, and if you have a lot of rejects and defects and you have to retouch up, redo again, or maybe wasting your product raw materials and raw materials and the production time, have to redo it again, and or maybe sit on the inventory and just found out that something sit in our inventory for a couple of days before someone can redo the product again. So you're not competitive. So by competitive, we are talking about cost positioning and the differentiation. So you have no way on the differentiation side. On the cost side, your operation is not supporting. So the operations has competitive strategy in terms of starting from mature, from copying, from learning from people's, and then slowly become standardized, and then slowly become you're the leader in the world for operations and productions. And by being a leader in the world, that transform your organization production into competitive. So how do you know that your operation strategy is competitive strategy? That, well, demonstrate to me, demonstrate to people, right? So not only just saying exploitative and exploratory, and so it seems like we are keep repeating again and again and again and again. So we repeat what the teachers say, we repeat what the textbooks say, we repeat what they say, and then we're trying to teach people by what exploratory means this, exploitative means this. But so it seems like there are a lot of knowledge, but actually nothing. So this kind of situation makes the world, makes our factories and makes our organizations very slow. So these are things that I want you to understand from your assignment. Okay, this is extremely very important, and things like that. Okay, so as I already demonstrated, that these competitive strategies make sense when you have internally you have a purpose, and because otherwise, why we have that strategy? Because you gotta make your company strong. So you gotta have a purpose, and that is the purpose that's starting to take shape on the competitive strategies. And again, be competitive. You got to demonstrate your evidence of competitiveness or competitive advantages or certain unique positions in the market, and that comes into the competitive positioning. And it could positions differently. It could position and not only differently, but sometimes integratively, meaning your positions cognitively in the mind, a certain cognitive positioning in the mind, like this product extremely powerful in the minds of the customers, and this product, without it, I can't live can't live my life properly. So you kind of competitive positioning emotionally in the mind of the customers, and then this product makes me to be a part of society. So we kind of positioning, competitive positioning in the mind of customers in a social manner, and that is how we link to the customer's value proposition in the domains of consumer behavior, which is the cognitive, behavior, affective, and agentic, and the social domains. And from there, the next thing is that you got to be able to get things done in a print check manners that you can robustly control your company, and that is called control implementations, which needs organization. And that is basically the operations. Operation strategy it means production strategy, manufacturing strategy, product development strategy, the quality assurance strategies, quality control strategy, marketing strategy, branding strategy, human resource development, human resource management strategy, financial strategy, accounting strategy, wastewater treatment strategies, logistics strategies, supply chain strategy, purchasing strategy, IT development strategy, ICT strategies, costing strategy, all these operation strategies. So I assume that all of you have already learned all this issue, how to operate, in different domains and things like that. And that is called exploitation. Okay, exploitation. But that exploitation if you can innovate innovation, so it's to operate, to exploit, you need also to explore. So you explore benchmarking with other people and see what kind of the operational the new technologies or new administrations or new ways or new things that you can incorporate and turn it into your own routine, repeatable best practices, so that you can control your cost. And then from there you can PDCA, plan, do, check, act, and then redefine your cost again. Okay, so these are very, very important, and not necessary you need to go to the planning business plan. You can form the test card, and then you can just like the Zappos, you can go through the hypothetical testing. So you put your competitive strategies right here. You believe that your competitive strategies can be realized by these, and then from there you verified it, and evidences show that. And then from there you work on your business model. You work on your business model and slowly put your learning of your business model into the learning curve, and then improve your learning curve, based on your learning curve, improve your business model through, for example, this feasibility areas or whatever, things like that. Okay, and so these are the feasibility area. And you're feasible to produce it, and this is desirability areas, and customers, the market desire it, and this is a viable. You have sufficient revenues and sufficient and the costs are under certain reasonable structures of assets and liabilities, and then from there you can know what you're gonna deliver, which is the place where you can win, right? And this is and then trying to get collaborations with other business model through ecological platform, and from there you can then get more knowledge and insight and wisdoms, and then from there you can improve your business better. And so this depending on your situation, things like that. So okay, so far we have the summarizes bring you back to a competitive strategy, and that was a huge discussions on competitive strategies, and then from there we can slowly discuss about it. So this from now on it's just a slow discussion. Okay, but the overall big discussions I have already given to you and have trained you on ambidextrous already. I will give you the assignments. Yesterday I delayed because I want to give the assignments at the same time. So tonight I will give the assignment at the same time, 2 weeks, and so that you don't need to rush because it's a Chinese New Year time. So so you can a little bit more relaxed in that sense. And also I have to provide you with the PowerPoint slides and I mean the YouTubes and things like that later. So competitive strategies. Now we just kind of reiterate again, as I told you, everything we can reiterate and have a different understanding, and every iteration takes it as lessons, as stimulation to stimulate your thought processes. So the more the different different expressions or different angle or understanding will will stimulate your neurons. So I'm actually teaching you neural networks, which is artificial intelligence. So how do you, for example, if you walk into a company, a high-tech company, or not necessarily high-tech nowadays, many companies are already implementing the artificial intelligence, maybe the artificial intelligence in Baidu, right? They're developing a lot of the artificial intelligence product development, higher equipments in these white equipments in China's, and Xiaomi. Definitely, you can buy a lot of Xiaomi's products nowadays are also artificial intelligence, and so what is artificial intelligence by those Xiaomi, Baidu's, and higher, and all these MS and all these big companies? It's very, very, very simple. So what we're doing is that every time when I give you a statement, every time when I give you a statement, it already explains the total situation. Okay, so you kind of know that the total situations mean you have a lot of inputs, right? You have a lot of data. Just I have given you a lot of I'm giving you a lot of scenario, right? All these are data, right? All these are data. So you kind of know the input, output, input, output, input, output, what you need to do. For example, you need to have competency in order to have the performance. You need to have this. You need to have this and that. Uh, so let's back to this competitive strategy. So by giving you a statement, this statement is just like an input. Okay, so the inputs will, when you read the sentence, according to Potter's 1985 page number 1, only page number 1, competitive strategy is the search, right? Searching for a favorable competitive position in industry. So again, you are looking into a competitive positioning and favorable in the industry, meaning that it is comparing with everybody else in the industries and overall generate certain favorable condition for your companies to be competitive, and so that you can there's some unique differentiations, such as in the cost area or in the needs area, in the variety area, or in the best practice areas, or in the standardizations areas, or in the blue oceans areas, or in the differentiations area. Again, whichever you're able to get some competitive positioning. And that is the fundamental arenas where the competitions occurs. Once that inputs get into your neurons in your mind, the minds will be electrified. The electricities will start and turn on the circuit, and so the circuit start to link to whichever neurons, and then slowly ding 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 ding, and then see the output. Okay, a company do like this input. Yes, there are a lot of companies really succeed because of these sentences. There's a lot of companies fail because of a similar situation, but they do not follow this. So following this situation, the companies win. Not following this situation, the company not win. So following this situation, this is the input. Not following the situation, that is the another input. And then following the situation, input, the companies win. That is the output. Not following the situations, the company fail. That is the output. So input, output, input, output, input, output, input, output, input, output, input, output. That is huge data, especially in Baidu and higher and this Xiaomi. The sell so many so many billions of to the billions of the customers, and they have all this data input, output, input, output, input, output. So again, how are you going to compete with them? How are you gonna compete with them if you do not have that powerful? So therefore, China is therefore powerful in terms of artificial intelligence, because they have huge data. And okay, so now I hope you understand artificial intelligence, because the assignments I give you is artificial intelligence, and otherwise you have to Google and learn from it. And so it's a very difficult to do artificial intelligence by now. I think you already learned about what is exactly artificial intelligence and how you're going to do that. There are so many things you can do. You can do the natural program, you can do the machine learning, you can do the supervised, unsupervised machine learnings and things like that. And you can go and buy the books on numerical analysis and try to understand how the optimizations does. And then from there you work on your architectural neuron architectures, and from there you derive your matrices, and from your matrices then you can have input, output, and then derive your optimizations, routes and things like that. I mean, backward and forward. Okay, so let's move into another area of the SSP. SSP can stands for structure, strategy, product, or it can stand for strategy, structures, product. Okay, so doesn't really matter. Don't stick to the worldview, and so long as because each of the mental worldviews can really help you in different area. So SSP, it's a very, very important theoretical model for you to understand competitive strategy. And let's so this SSP can ones and the SSP two. Okay, SSP ones can be structure. Okay, can be structure. Okay, and then strategy, and then the performance. Okay, so let's look at these two area. Okay, so let's look at these two area and see how you can derive your competitive strategy. And inductively and deductively. Okay, and I do want to tell you, by now you think I hope that you should know what is inductive and what is deductive. So if I say which one is more inductive, which one is more deductive, then or both, both can be inductive, can be deductive, right? Depends on how you make use of it. So it's not a simple, straightforward questions. And even I tell you the ability to apply, which is your capability, which is your competency, which is different. So strategic capabilities and is different from one organization to another organization. And so even though you read the same textbook, it comes up totally differently, because different organizations, when you look at these things, one can apply, one cannot apply, one can apply as a novice, one can apply as a professional, one can apply as an expert. So it's a different level of maturity, the competencies, right? When you study competency, not only at the knowing what is the competency, but you also know the level of competencies. Though there is a y-axis, which is the competencies level, and the x-axis, which is the scope. So types or natures of competency. So again, competency is a huge area, and it's not that straightforward. And I hope slowly you will pick up and understand all these issues, and maybe you already learned some things from your human resource development or human resource management. Okay, so back to the SSP1. SSP1s, because the two X are similar, so you can start with the structures and then move to the strategy. Structures means this. It means that if you really want to understand the competitive strategy, if you really want to understand the competitive strategies, you really have to understand the industry structure. So industry structure, the structures of where you are in, it's very important. For example, if you talk about the industry, let's talk about you. Next time, if you go and maybe most of you has already gone through the internship. I'm not so sure how many of you have gone through internship, but assume you have gone through internship. So probably you will be going to internship. When you go to internship, what do you do? What's competitive strategy would you do?